So, warm welcome. We're going to be doing a little series on short courses just to give you some background and some knowledge really on our YouTube channel. That's the point of it. We're going to first start with sales, and one of the key issues I see, just my background, many years in international trade. Started in logistics. I ran a logistics company for many years, and we sold that to one of the large corporations in 2015. And then since then went into much more trade, customs trainer, very much Brexit, worked for the Institute of Exports, delivering their Brexit and rules of origin. So in-depth knowledge in all key areas, and worked internationally with the ICC, delivering Incoterms in most countries. So, very adapt to understanding each country has different requirements. And this is one of the things I want to talk about sales because I'm a sales background. My background is sales. But one of the things I see constantly wrong with sales. So we're just going to go quickly through where I see the challenges and some things that if you can really start to challenge and understand, it really gives you a basis to really expand. Don't listen to all the nonsense out there about trade this, trade, there's lots of traceability about demands on this and demands on that. As long as you're doing everything correct, your goods will move. So don't let anybody kid you. We're not here to put anybody off. We're actually here to help you move along and move your goods in a nice way. But normally, with anything in international sales, particularly when you're new or when you're a large corporation, you tend to find that the sales team are the first point of contact. You're the first point of contact. And with our eagerness, we want to look after the customer and give him whatever he wants. But sometimes in international trade, we have to be very careful because there's certain things we can't change once the process is happening. And it can really erode your profits. And if you're working on commissions and good commissions, your commission can be eroded overnight for all the hard work you've done without understanding how trade works. And it's really interesting actually when we go through these short courses. So strong demand, successful international business. Many businesses are fueled by the flurry of interest. So we get lots of interest, lots of emails, lots of things enjoying what they're seeing, and they're really keen on wanting to buy your products. You've sold in the UK, you've been very successful, or you could be an international sales now, and you've sold your product in Saudi, or you've sold your products in China or the US, and can now I expand that? What are the fundamentals for me to expand that? Well, the first thing is when you sales is obviously doing that little bit of research and understanding the research you're doing. Understanding the markets that want or are in demand for your products. There's no point wasting your energy on a market that doesn't really generate anything and just leaves you a bit frustrated. But let's just imagine now you're in that process and you're getting your inquiries, and there's a lot of inquiries coming in. What do you do at that point? Well, one of the biggest challenges you have is understanding when somebody makes an inquiry, what you should be checking on your inquiry, because the buck normally stops with you as a salesperson. So it's very important to understand where your responsibilities and where your part of the chain is. We call it kind of the jigsaw effect, because the jigsaw is multiple people involved in the jigsaw, and you're normally the first person. And you're normally the person in the jigsaw that doesn't quite fit in the jigsaw and you can't fix it, or the puzzle. So if you look at a puzzle or anything like that, when you're putting your piece in and there's a piece missing, it's normally that first point, because you're normally the first point that things have really started to go away. And then what happens is on your export department, who are trying to, or your logistics department, who are trying to move your goods, fail miserably because it's already been agreed within that chain. So again, it's just understanding. So checklist. And what is on your checklist? Well, there's some fundamental problems, demand versus readiness. What a lot of things, or a lot of companies, when they want to buy your products, at first point, they may not have done the research. They may not have understood that your product is not of a UK origin, or if you're based in the EU, an EU origin, and they're buying from a country where there's a free trade agreement. A free trade agreement where there's a benefit to buy your products as long as it meets the requirement that they receive your goods and don't pay any duties. Yes, they pay VAT, but they don't pay any duties. So again, fundamentally understanding your products. Another mistake, key mistake, is nobody agrees the Incoterms, and nobody has a Scooby-Doo about the Incoterm. You've got to be very clear with your Incoterm. What is your Incoterm? If you've done your contract of agreement and you're going through that process, or they're making that inquiry, who's taking the responsibility on the logistics? Because if you don't sort that out, somebody's going to assume that you're going to be delivering the goods. What if they're like in India, the far part of India, and they're ordering 2 pallets worth? and suddenly you've costed it, and they've dragged you down, they've bartered with you, they want a good price, best price, and you're bringing all this pricing into it, and you've not thought about any of your documentation, your logistics, or anything. So this is the key part when you first start that journey. Again, with an Incoterm, it's very important to understand. Another thing is your regularity. So you may have a product that is BS standard in the UK. Let's just work on the EU, or you may be based in the EU and you may have a CE marking. What are the requirements in the country that you're going to be delivering to? These are the things you should be checking. So if I've got somebody in India or in China who's checking and he wants to buy the product and he wants to be able to put it on the market, you've got to make sure that on the market that you meet all the standard requirements in that country you're going into. For instance, in the UK, you may have BSI, and remember we had in the old days we had the CE marking, and some products still comes with the CE marking. Then the UK went down the having their own marking, but CE marking is still relevant. So what happens if you're trying a demand and you've decided not to go down that route? You've just got BSI standard, but you need to have that CE marking. If you've not got that, that's costly, and your importer will assume, or buyer will assume you have that. When we talk about Incoterms, the first thing that the buyer will do, if he knows that you're not too savvy on your Incoterms, he'll push DDP to you. So deliver duty paid. And that's keen what it is, deliver duty paid. So be very careful, because when we talk about DDP, it's one of the only Incoterms as a seller where you're fully responsible, not just to load the goods, deliver the goods, take the cost of the transport, do the export entry. You're also responsible on the other side to do the import entry and also pay any costs. Well, you imagine if you're going into Europe, into, I don't know, let's say Germany, you got between 18 and 23% VAT and you've not accounted for it. And then you deliver the goods and you got an order of £30,000, not realising that £30,000 you're going to have to pay 23% cost on top of that for your VAT. And if you're not registered there, it's a pure cost to you. That can be very costly. And I've dealt with companies who have been in them situations. So again, just be very cautious. Also, if you're dealing with buyers, remember their local markets might be slightly different to your requirements. So again, make sure you can adjust to that. And it's all that bottom floor of your cost. Where do I see the big gaps there? Incomplete costing, landing cost. When we say landing cost, what we mean by that is how much does it cost for your product to go for you to the customer? What is that cost involved in that? Is that built in, or are you extra charging that, or have you accounted for that? Because that can be very costly to you. Incoterms, like I said, make sure you understand, X Works, FCA, CPT. If you're going by container, FOB, CFR, what do they all mean? What is that relevance to me? Compliance blind spots, customs procedures. Remember, anything that moves outside of the UK, whether it's going into Northern Ireland, Ireland, or anywhere else, you're still responsible for doing the customs entry. That means the customs entry needs to be produced. Somebody has to pay for that. And then when you're going on the other side, again, what regulations and what customs entries that's going to be done, who's paying for all that, who's paying for the VAT and duty if it's possible. Unrealistic promises. Don't promise something you can't deliver. Why would you say to somebody in the GCC country that you'll deliver the goods within 3 days? Then it goes to the shipping department, and you've not costed for that. You've costed it to go on the low, slow, sea freight, ocean freight, which is, very competitive, and that's why lots of 70% of business still goes through ocean freight. And then all of a sudden, in your contracts and your PO, they've demanded that you've said 3 days. You've signed for it, you've said 3 days. All of a sudden, they're going to have to air freight. Well, air freight will cost you 3, 4, 5 times the amount. And if it's 2 pallets worth, it's very expensive. So all your profit is just eroded. So when we talk about margin erosion, hidden costs destroy profitability. Customs disputes or customer disputes, what have you not, what are the expectations and the trust? They assume because you're the exporter, you'll have a lot of things in place. Delays, penalties, again, operational failures create cost, and compliance risk, again, understanding the market you're going into of what is required into that market. Again, trade capability must lead sales, so qualify demand properly, ensure that you can deliver, and define your capability boundaries. As long as you do them key things and you learn and you do the training, and we do lots of training, so you can do either you can buy the videos, whatever, and we'll teach you how to do everything. And trust me, if you get this right, you can be very, very successful in the international market. The UK is a bedrock for international sales. And if you're in another country, your country, and again, there's lots of tools you can use out there. We've got the export builder we built. Again, contact us, but enjoy the video. it's very important. They're just snippets of what we can do and how we can help you. And I've been doing this. I've been training for over 15 years. I've been all over the world on different sales, exports, imports, customs. I've done it all. So there's nothing inward processing, letters of credit. I deliver all them different levels of training, and I'm off qual now. My level 4 diploma in supply chain is now just been approved. So we've got a full level 4 diploma, which is approved by the government, which will be coming in March. And again, that'll be on video, which you'll be able to purchase if you want. And again, we're here to help you. So again, if you've got any queries, contact us, let us know what your queries are. We can always help you. We're here to support you. We're here to say there's a market there that you can go wherever you want to, as long as you follow the fundamentals of your sales journey. It's very important. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed that, and hopefully we'll see you soon. We're going to be doing some more snippets on videos. So again, have a look, see what you think. But again, join our YouTube channel. That's what it's about. It's there to support you. So thanks very much from all of us here at Export.